It's once again good to be back home, whether one day or 1 week out of country. Your heart still longs to come back home, so it is good to be back. Duty demands that I travel, and I just want to say that it was a good meet at the Davos World Economic Forum. Converges in Davos this time every year. It has been a convergence of mind since for the last 30, 40 years. Every year, based on invitation, selected leaders in government, selected leaders in the private sector, business, technology, innovations are invited. And this year again, I was invited. Last year, I refused. Not refused, but I didn't travel on the basis of the January 10th event last year. But this time around, I went. The conversation rotated around. The theme of the conference was collaboration for intelligent age, and discussions focus on addressing global challenges through innovation and partnerships through promoting sustainable and inclusive growth. A major focus of the meeting rotated around how artificial intelligence could save the world going forward. PNG cannot afford to be left behind in latest contemporary development as we speak. Technology emerges. The cutting-edge frontiers are emerging in a world that is becoming more interrelated through technology, and certainly our presence there was noted, as well as I was myself and the selective delegation travel. There were only 4 of us, myself representing those in government, Chief Secretary representing the public service, Anthony Smara representing our private sector, and Dari Weller had to be with me as chairman of our state negotiating team, because on the side we had to meet a few of our key investors in our country, especially ExxonMobil for Pyongyang, PNG LNG and Papua, Total for Papua LNG, and Newmont for Wafi Golpu. So the 4 of us attended almost every meeting that we supposed to attend. It is, for me personally, it was enriching, an eye-opener to the world that existed for PNG. We do participate in APEC, we participate in PIF, we participate in UN, we participate in many forums. But this one is, as I said, based on invitation, very, very exclusive invitation. A few meetings were just restricted for leaders at the high end, and I was privileged to be in those very restrictive meetings where conversations that happened behind back rooms in most, especially nation to nation, and investment communities were conversations were made. I want to indicate key outcomes or focus areas, as I said earlier, included climate change and sustainability, and Papua New Guinea is recognized as a strong voice in this space. Some of you would have picked my release asking the United States to reconsider their view on pulling out from Paris Agreement. Paris Agreement in 2015 was a convergence of over 200 nations that signed to pledge that by 2025, serious work would have taken place for us to bring or contain temperature rise below 1.5 degrees Celsius. However, United States, all in all, since the Industrial Revolution, is the biggest carbon footprint holder. But last year and in the last few years, they become second only to China. They hold substantial carbon footprints, yet based on their own national interest. President Trump did indicate withdrawal from the Paris Agreement. The conference at WEF were mixed, divided. Those who wanted economic progress were in support. Those of us who felt that the economy must not come at the expense of humanity and sustainable sustenance of planet Earth. And so there was a mixed divide in what was U.S.'s latest view. However, as I said, that climate change conversation took center stage. Economic resilience also took center stage. IMF and World Bank and most of leading commentators as far as global economy was concerned made their outlook. There's an optimist view and a bullish view in 2025. It is believed that most economy will post growth and consistent with our own local forecast for PNG that we will be facing an economic growth here. The global outlook was for economic growth. Everyone agreed that as a planet, we need to think about economic resilience and sustaining growth amidst many of the challenges we have. A major issue under discussion also in the back room was the geopolitics and the divide. The Russia and Ukraine war took center stage, but of course in the backroom conversations, not out in public. All nations were asked to speak their mind. Unlike United Nations, where it is broadcast for everyone to see, this one was exclusive. We were reminded that as national leaders, you have responsibility not to speak deeply into conversations that were made in those groups. But everyone felt that the war must stop. It has an effect on global economy. And our conversation dived in on some of the few key wars that has taken place in our planet. Ukraine-Russia war, the Middle East conversations. We're happy that suddenly the peace agreement that has been signed, and of course there's a war unbeknownst to many that is currently taking place in Sudan right now. That also took some time for the leaders to be in discussion. There were discussions on technology and artificial intelligence. I want to say to our country, one of the reasons why I went there was to be not just abreast, but to establish link to this frontier. We cannot afford to be left behind today. It is a digital world, but digital world that is powered by artificial intelligence. As we speak, these innovations is moving at a lightning speed. And for Papua New Guinea, I came back. One of my first departments I'll be meeting next week is our own Department of Communication and ICT, and for us to be prepared and step up in the manner in which AI is being developed across our country. Conversation did also focus. PNG had special interest in biodiversity and conservation. There are a pool of funds out there. We attended a couple of key meetings that relates to conservation efforts, preserving earth, preserving forest. As most of you know, Papua New Guinea is a big forest nation. We have 6% to 7% of the world's biodiversity. Our ocean space, together with PIF, Pacific Island Nation, is about 30% of the entire global space. So we are a big stakeholder in the conversation in regards to conservation of planet Earth. And our forestry resources was noted, our biodiversity was noted, as well as our stake in the Pacific Ocean was noted. There were also conversations on agriculture and food. It was acknowledged that food and agriculture is a major issue. Food insecurity will be a global issue going forward. And I did participate in a couple of forums on food security conversations, and especially technology that is now available for sustainable agriculture. And not just technology, but links to financing that is available. So those meetings I participated inside, as well as, more importantly, making connections for Papua New Guinea. And so those were really some of the gist of the meetings that we participated inside. PNG's role in geopolitics in a world today that is divided, polarized to some extent between East and West, if you know what I mean. And PNG is caught up in the centerpiece of that divide, the East and West divide. And our placement in world geography for us is a bonus. We'd like to capitalize on our placement right in the middle of East and West, as well as our placement close to ASEAN. Special mention, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, under the chairmanship of Prime Minister of Malaysia. I met him. They did discuss PNG's progress towards becoming a member of ASEAN, and he did indicate to me there was positive progress made in that space. PNG is right at the fringe of ASEAN as an observer. We are linked to the ASEAN marketplace as well as the Asian marketplace. And that makes PNG in a very unique place. We relate both to politics, government, trade, and commerce, and our association with the West, but our cultural and close proximity affinity to the East, meaning the Asian nations remain very much in our face by our actual presence in the region. Papua New Guinea also advocates for small Pacific Island nations who face the travesty of sea level rise, climate change, And we felt, and tomorrow I'll be releasing a letter to Washington, but my press release on for asking President Trump to reconsider his withdrawal from Paris Agreement. A formal letter will be conveyed to White House, and I've made a reach out to our Pacific Island nations. They're in discussion at the moment as to our collective position. But PNG makes it absolutely clear that we live in a time when climate change-related travesties are hitting planet the hardest and the greatest effect. And vulnerability is faced by those of us who are the least cost to global warming and climate change-related issues. And so my letter will go to U.S. U.S. is a great partner nation to us, one of our foundational partner nations, and I am sure they will give consideration to our concerns. It is a legitimate, valid concern. The ambassador, U.S. ambassador to PNG, did reach out to me this morning that my press was circulated to Washington, and I did inform a letter is coming following the press so that our concerns are formally remitted. And I intend to work with our PIF brother and sister nations to continue advocating that we cannot allow fossil fuel triggered climate changes to take place. USA, China, Japan, Germany, Australia, all the industrialized nations have not shut down one coal plant since 2015. And so the small Pacific Island nation, PNG, is the biggest nation in the family of nations in the Pacific Island nation. We stand to advocate for our brothers and sisters in the entire Pacific, including Australia and New Zealand. I want to also say in the margins of this meeting, I did meet Mr. Puyane. Some of you followed President Trump's address to WEF. Mr. Puyane was in the panel who was asking Mr. Trump on their policy towards hydrocarbon energy space. I met Mr. Puyane. Mr. Puyane gives his greetings to us and confirmed that work on Papua LNG is progressing. They've revisited the tender for the front-end engineering design that is now being revisited. It's running its full course. Very soon they may announce on the contractor that is being selected. It's a rescoped project that is being rescoped right now as we speak. And the last time they went out for tender, those who bid it came in at $18 billion. In terms of cost of construction, $18 billion cost of construction will affect the rate of return on investment. And Kumul is also a shareholder in this project. All shareholders are concerned the high cost of construction. So Total has and ExxonMobil assisted the rescope. At the moment, the tender is out. They will select contractors very soon. And I did indicate to them September is a good month for Papua New Guinea. But in any case, later end of this year, the project would announce the progress from where it is today to FID. And that's a good news I bring back, having met with CEO of Total. In the same meeting, same day, one place, we were able to organize this meeting back to back. And ExxonMobil CEO Darren Woods was there. We met him. He also expressed his profound satisfaction that PNG is a good investment destination. PNG LNG is running very well. They've been able to uplink Angore into PNG LNG production right now. Angore field was an investment of $1 billion worth of work in the last 2 years. They're continuing on their own, working to bring and prepare Pinyang. Pinyang LNG. Pinyang LNG is a 4.6 TCF gas. Papua is a 6.6 TCF gas. So these two projects, and Exxon is working for Pinyang, and Total is leading in Papua. We hope, as our national strategy, we hope construction in Papua starts, and back-to-back construction in Pinyang can come on later on. And the two leaders of these two companies gave assurance to myself that Papua and Pinyang stacks up very well. And Exxon is also looking at a wildebeest that is on the north part of Gulf province. If we stay in Kerama, just north up in Kerama. Total, by the way, does indicate there's an exciting prospect in Mailu, in eastern part of Central Province. They will be spending more than $300 million this year doing offshore drilling just to ascertain the volume of gas and resource that may be in that part of our country also. So exciting news in this space. I was also able to meet Mr. Tom Palmer of Newmont. Newmont is the biggest gold mine in the world. He expressed his desire, and of course, Chairman of Harmony, Mr. Felipe Pesope, both expressed desire that Wafi-Golpu must be progressed. We gave undertaking that the state negotiating team will convene at the very earliest to go through the latest round of mine development contract. I do apologize to our people, but mine development contracts are long-term agreements that we are signing. For Wafi-Golpu, it's a 40-year agreement that we may be signing. Our government has to be prudent and make sure that what we're signing is the correct agreement for our people so that it lasts long time and returns benefit to PNG as well as returning to investors. So I did give assurance to both Harmony and Newmont that we are not reckless, but we are prudent. And our prudency also embraces them because their long-term investment is secured in what we secure, not just for national government, but more importantly for the landowners and Marape provincial government. So I think on the side of this WEF meeting is 3 big investors or 4 big investors for 3 or 4 projects that are running in our country was, for me, one of the principal reasons why I had to get there, because at one time, one space, one meeting, we can be able to meet all of them together instead of having many meetings in different places. Em tasol, mi hammas lo kambek, thank you too much.